Friends, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, on 14th April, we pay homage to the father of Indian Constitution, Dr. Bhimrao Babasaheb Ambedkar. Babasaheb came from the Dalit family and he had to struggle hard to get education. But the result was the community which was denied education. From that community, we got a person who was maximally educated, who got highest degrees and was so learned. Of course, he had to face a lot of hardships, and with these hardships, he later on went on to achieve PhD, DSc, and other higher degrees. In his struggles and in his studies, he tried to understand Indian society, India's caste Varna system, India's economy, and other problems related to India. When he came back to India after studying, he was employed in Baroda princely state, but he was treated as untouchable. This hurt him a lot, and he undertook a journey which in due course resulted in fighting against the untouchability, the caste system, the Varna system, and he emerged as the major leader of Dalits in India. During the course of his struggle, he first started a paper called Mook Nayak, which was the voice of the Dalits and exploited. He also started Scheduled Caste Federation later, and before that, Bahujan Hitkarni Sabha. Through these, he tried to organize Dalits, tried to start hostels for their education. During his struggles, he undertook to fight against untouchability and to struggle for equality. This was in the form of first Chaudhar Talab movement for right to access to public drinking water, then Kalaram temple, right to access to temples as Hindu, because initially he thought Hinduism can be reformed. But with both these, he got the experience that it is very difficult to survive in a religion where Brahminism is the dominating ideology. And that's when he went on to burn Manusmriti. While burning Manusmriti, he was very clear that Manusmriti gives the provisions of slavery for Shudras and women, and that's something he doesn't stand for. Now, during the course of this, he also declared that he was born a Hindu, but that was not in his hands. But he will not die a Hindu. After this, he started studying various religions in depth and came to the conclusion, and later on converted to Buddhism, which he thought is the most humane religion related to equality. During the course of his struggles, he tried to ensure that Dalits get a due place through Mahar regiment, which he forced through Viceroy's Council. Similarly, after Pune Pact, Dalits started getting good deal of reservation in jobs, initially in the electoral ground, and later on this got converted into jobs and educational institutions, more particularly after the making of Indian Constitution. Now before we come to his contribution to freedom movement of India, as Mahatma Gandhi said to Ambedkar, that Ambedkar, you are a sterling patriot. These were the words of Mahatma Gandhi. After with these efforts, he emerged as the tallest Dalit leader, and he was invited to the interim government which was headed by Jawaharlal Nehru. He was given important portfolios through which he tried to act on law and labor reforms. He was also given later the responsibility of chairing the drafting committee of India's constitution, and this probably has been his major contribution. This has been his major contribution, as he single-handedly studied most of the constitutions of the world, and what we get is one of the best constitution focusing on liberty, equality, fraternity. Similarly, he was given the responsibility for drafting Hindu Code Bill, and while drafting Hindu Code Bill, he kept in mind that women's equality is the most important facet which one has to keep in mind. And unfortunately, many conservatives within the cabinet did not accept the code bill drafted by him. So, pained by this, he resigned from the cabinet. He was not for power, he was for principles. He was for principles. And in this struggle, he also, in 1935, he formed Indian Labour Party on the lines of Jyotirao Phule, who said that the person who is a labourer, farmer, is also a Dalit. Baba Saheb also believed that the workers are primarily Dalits, and that's why he formed Indian Labour Party. Before this, another follower of Jyotirao Phule, Narayan Meghaji Lokhande, had started organizing the workers. Now, then he formed Scheduled Caste Federation. Later on, he went on to put the outline of Republican Party of India. And that party stood for the basic principles which are outlined in Indian Constitution. Of course, his contribution to India's freedom movement in influencing its values is second to none. He can be called as a basic ideologue of the freedom movement, as it resulted in the Constitution, which gives us liberty, equality, fraternity. While converting to Buddhism, Baba Saheb also administered 22 oaths, and these oaths include opposition to blind faith, not worshipping Brahma, Vishnu or Mahesh and other Hindu gods and goddesses, which people should remember as to what was his reason for opposing blind faith. He was for scientific temper, and in this direction, his ideology which had evolved, he regarded three people as his gurus. Who were his three gurus? One was Lord Gautam Buddha, who gave the message of equality, and with that equality message, society transformed a lot. Then second guru he regards Sant Kabir, who also struggled a lot through his work against the caste system in the society. His whole of Kabir's poetry is full of that. And his third guru, his immediate predecessor, was Jyotirao Phule, who did a human service by introducing education to Dalits in the various ways. So this was his journey, and today we see many people who are opposed to Indian Constitution, many people who are opposed to the values of liberty, equality, fraternity. They are also trying to make a show off as if they respect Ambedkar. They put garlands around his photographs, they put garlands around his statues, but they are totally opposed to his values, which we have tried to understand. They stand for nationalism in the name of religion, Hindu Rashtra, and Baba Saheb Ambedkar, in his book Thoughts on Pakistan, clearly says that formation of Pakistan will be a big tragedy, especially for Dalits, because if Pakistan is formed, that will also pave the way for Hindu Raj, and that will be a big calamity for Dalits in India. Today, Dalits have come a long way, but his principles are not being respected as much as we want. Dalit movement needs to recall that unless we stand for the affirmative action enunciated in our constitution, the community, society cannot prosper and go further. There are many people who have benefited from the struggles of Baba Sahib. They need to give back to the society to ensure that social justice is instituted in Indian society to the core. We have to be aware that all those who make a show of respecting him should be challenged, should be opposed, and we should firmly stand to the concept of secular democratic India with affirmative action not only for Dalits but also for other weaker sections of society. Thank you very much, friends. Hope you like this video. If you like, you also forward it and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.